Hello, Sardis Lake. This is Brother Johnny Mack of Impact Evangelism. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there at the conference this year in person. I always love going there, and I've made a lot of friends over the years there. Your church, really, Sardis Lake Baptist Church, has truly been the backbone support of Impact Evangelism for many years now. And I can't tell you how grateful I am and how thankful I am for y'all and all the love and support you've shown me over the years, and helping me get the gospel message to Mongolia and other places as well. And the love that y'all are showing missionaries through this pandemic is really cool. I think it really reflects your heart for the Lord, man. Y'all guys love the Lord, and you love seeing people come to the Lord. You love seeing people getting saved and disciples being made and churches planted all over the world. Man, y'all have a heart for the Great Commission because y'all have a heart for Jesus, and it really shows. And I know I speak for myself and probably all the other missionaries that you support. We're really thankful for y'all and all that y'all do to help us get the gospel out to the world. So if you don't know, I am a missionary to the country of Mongolia. And I've been working with Mitch Tillman for many years now. I first met Mitch and his father Tommy at a missions conference at my church. At my home church I was attending at the time, I was in charge of setting up this missions conference, and I got to meet Mitch and his father Tommy, and they invited me to come to Mongolia, and that was many years ago. 6 years ago, I think, something like that, and I've been a missionary to Mongolia ever since. I met Pastor Kevin over there in Mongolia, and every time it gets cold, I know Pastor Kevin probably has the same thoughts that I do, that, man, it gets kind of cold here in Alabama and Mississippi every now and then, but man, you hadn't felt cold until you've been to Mongolia, because, man, it gets cold over there. So I know Pastor Kevin feels the same way. So what I do in Mongolia, what do I do? Well, I work with Mitch and his pastors over there. What I do is I work with the pastors in evangelism mainly. And now what I mean by evangelism, I teach them Bible studies and teach them techniques that they can use to share the gospel with people. But I'm also a hands-on type of a guy. I believe that people can't really learn how to share the gospel correctly unless somebody shows them how to do it, right? It's easy to tell somebody how to do it and have classes, and those things are good and probably needed, but really the learning comes when it's a hands-on experience. So what I do is I work with the pastors over there in Mongolia in evangelism, and I take them out on the streets. I take them out into the dark areas of town, whether it be either in the dump or the black market, and where all the street alcoholics hang out. We take them to the streets, and we go knocking on doors in the communities that surround the churches as well, just like we do here in America. And so I teach them how to share the gospel, and I also learn from them how the best way to communicate the gospel with Mongolians. They know the culture obviously a lot better than I do. So I'm learning from them as well as they're learning from me. But that's my main goal there, is when I'm there, is to teach evangelism to these pastors, because that is the lifeblood of any church, is being able to share the gospel with people, lead them to the Lord, and make disciples. So that's what I'm all about when I'm over there. And I'm also preach the gospel when I'm there. They let me preach the gospel in all their churches. And really love working with Mukalai. He has a church plant that he's planted by the dump in the feeding center. In the feeding center, he's done a really good job, and it was just a feeding center at one time, where it still is a feeding center. It feeds the hungry children in that area, but he's also planted a church, and there's this growing church there. And then the pandemic hit, and then the lockdowns hit, so I'm not sure exactly how they're meeting over there in churches now. It's kind of restricted. So I hope that Mukalai is still being able to grow his church. But I love working with Mukalai. He's a great young pastor, about 24 years old, I'm guessing 24, 25. just a young, dynamic guy, and he really is attentive. He really learns really well. When I was over there with him the last time, man, we went all over the city and all over those areas around where his church is, and he was really learning. You could tell he was getting into it, and he does a lot of outreach now on his own. That made my heart feel good. I came back from my last trip, and Mitch was telling me that he had set up a routine where they go out and visit the areas around his church and the community and share the gospel with people, and they're doing soul winning. Man, just when you see the guys doing that kind of stuff, man, it makes it all worthwhile. And another thing I do over there is I preach the gospel in rescue missions. Alcohol is a huge problem in Mongolia, especially with the males. I've seen statistics where up to 60 or 75% of the males are alcoholics, and it's just breaking down the family unit. It's hurting it really bad over there in Mongolia. And these rescue missions bring in these guys off the street. We preach the gospel to them, and they get discipled while they're there. And there's a lot of lives that have been changed in these rescue missions. In fact, you can ask Mitch, but a lot of the people he works with in his ministry were saved at these rescue missions. So they work. And we know the power of God in the salvation, the gospel message, the power of God can change anyone's life, man. And Mongolia is a living proof of that. And also go to prisons in Mongolia and preach the gospel. And I'm hoping I can branch out into other prisons. I go to this one main prison now as it is, but I'm hopefully being able to go to more prisons. There's just jails and prisons all over Ulaanbaatar, and I'm praying that I can get into those as well. So this pandemic has kind of hurt us a little bit, with the travel being restricted, and a lot of church support has fallen off. I know Sardis Lake has hung in there with us, but it's understandable. I believe the Lord's going to open up doors, and He's going to provide for us a way to get back over there. I really do, because there's just so much work over there for us to do, and so many guys I can work with and help grow that church over there, and help Mitch all I can, and all those ministries that Mitch and Harbor Evangelism has built over the years. I serve in any capacity he wants me to do while I'm over there. I really enjoy it. But I also do a lot of ministry here in Birmingham, Alabama. I do rescue mission work here, and I do street ministry work here. I work with Jimmy Hill Mission, who has been a street mission here in Birmingham for over 75 years, and we're really blessed to be a part of that ministry. And we serve a meal once a quarter at these meetings, and we do chapel service, and we do a music service. We feed them food, cook the food, buy the food, serve them the food. We do a lot of good stuff with that missionary work with Jimmy Hill Mission. And we do a lot of street ministry as well. But I want to tell you about our new work that we're doing. When the pandemic hit and all the lockdowns hit, it really restricted us. I couldn't go to Mongolia, and I couldn't do my street ministry, and they even shut down the rescue mission. So I was looking around, man, what do I do? I've got to get the gospel out somehow. And those who know me know that's what I do. I mean, I've been preaching the gospel for over 20 years. I've been an evangelist for over 20 years. And I could just, doors have opened, doors have shut. And all these doors were shut, and I was thinking of what could I do? And I started a YouTube channel. Impact Evangelism has a YouTube channel. And we started it a little bit over a year ago. And our YouTube channel has preached the gospel to 50 different countries all over the world. And in 6 continents all over the world. We've reached Iraq. We've reached Saudi Arabia. We've reached Lebanon. We've reached Israel. We've reached all these countries in Europe and Africa and South America and Asia as well. And we have reached, I think our last views I saw, we've had 65,000 views, something like that, worldwide. And it's strictly a gospel ministry. We do teaching, we do some apologetics works, and we have tons of gospel messages. It's all about evangelism. And so that's really great. I think that's pretty cool. I know y'all have done the same thing, that when the pandemic hit, y'all started doing Facebook Live and things like that. That's just what we got to do, right? Is we got to get the gospel out. If stuff shuts down, the government says you can't do this, you can't do that, we got to adapt, right? And so that's the way I adapted. We started a YouTube channel, and we've reached the gospel in 50 countries. And that's countries I'd never get to. I never could go to Lebanon and Iraq, Saudi Arabia. I never could reach the gospel with those people flying a plane and landing and preaching. But with YouTube and with the internet, it's possible. So the possibilities are endless of what we can do with our YouTube channel, and it costs money to have equipment and all that kind of stuff. So I really love the support y'all give me. It helps me get the gospel not just to Mongolia, but to all these other different countries all over the globe. And again, I can't thank y'all enough, and I'm super excited about the future. The Lord is good. The Lord is great. Amen. And we just celebrated Resurrection Sunday. And as you can tell, I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the future. I love preaching the gospel. I love sharing the gospel. I love leading people to the Lord, whether it's in person in Mongolia, in a rescue mission here in Birmingham, Alabama, or a YouTube channel that gets the message out all over the world. So again, I thank y'all, Sardis Lake Baptist Church. Thank y'all so much for what you've done for Impact Evangelism. And I'm praying for the missions conference and all the other missionaries that are there this year and all the ones that couldn't make it. Hey, we love y'all, Sardis Lake Baptist Church. I want to thank y'all again. This is Brother Johnny Mack of Impact Evangelism. We love y'all.